Okay. So hi everyone. I am very glad to present a wonderful artist today. I've been known David Koh for a couple of years. It's been a while, and when I met his artwork, I really can say that my view of art changed radically. So I've been following David's work during these years, and it has been a wonderful learning journey. So. Um, to see how this talented visual artist is growing until today. So, filmmaker, photographer, new media artist. Welcome, David, to Luz Viajera Forum. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you, Juan Pablo, for having me. I'm glad we could talk.
Okay, okay. So
Mhm.
I start this series of interview asking our guests to begin talking about their journeys in art, David. So tell us about it.
Thank you. Yeah. Where to begin? I think, well, to really begin, I've always liked art, from a young age. So I remember I grew up in the United States, just outside New York City,
Okay.
about 45 minutes. And art was always my favorite subject, and it was always just fun for me. But everyone is doing art at a young age, right?
Yeah.
And I think only when I was maybe 12 or 13, that's when I started to think about art more. And so a lot of my other friends, they maybe went into different directions, but I decided I wanted to pursue art as more of my choice.
Okay.
So I drew a lot of cartoons. I
Okay.
drew SpongeBob, I drew Garfield, uh, and a lot of things like that, just for fun. And at the same time, I started to become interested in movies and filmmaking. Um, After I watched The Lord of the Rings, that was around 2002, 2003, the
Yep.
movies came out. And I was fascinated by the production of movies. And then at the same time, I started doing photography and started making some short films and started writing my own movie scripts. And that's when a lot of my first video artworks or movies and started to come together.
Okay.
And then I did art in high school, just painting and drawing. But I decided to pursue filmmaking as my degree in university.
Okay.
So that's what my dream was to become a film director, like Martin Scorsese, Peter Jackson. But I think after I graduated in 2015, um, a lot of my thoughts were a lot more experimental
Okay.
instead of just traditional movie making.
Yeah.
And then, so I decided to uh, go back to some of my earlier training in traditional art by drawing and painting again. And then I think that's when I learned that about more digital art, that's when I decided, oh, wow, I can actually mix um, video and filmmaking with um, drawing and painting,
Okay.
digital drawing and painting, but these things don't have to be separate. And so you can really mix photography, video, digital paint, and animation and have it all be on the same canvas. Um, Canvas, meaning,
Yeah.
computer screen.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, and then yeah, I started to work in more in that space of new media art in the last few years, and then right now I'm in doing my master's degree in fine art. Um, yeah, so that's kind of a very short introduction to my journey in art.
your background. Yeah, and well, talking about this mixing media thing, since I met your work, I've been fascinating with how you use not only photography but also painting, poetry, and most recently other medias like virtual reality or augmented reality as well. Um,
Hmm.
what excites me the most is actually your capacity to mix all these media, building some type of new language, uh, a language which merged from what you have, I think, written previously, the liquid of the mediums.
Mm.
So, which are I just wanted to ask, which are the challenges that David has gone through in creating this kind of pieces, which mix all this kind of media?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I'm glad you brought up the liquid and the gas analogy,
The gas,
which I
yeah,
wrote, yeah, about how images and media are now acting like liquid or gas, where they can all kind of combine and they all merge together rather than just being two separate objects. Um, I think that in mixing these mediums, the challenge is sometimes how do you take these two mediums and make them combine them in the right way where it's something new and not just um, a painting that is a video, or
yeah,
like how do you make it so that it's more interesting rather than just it's a deeper meaning beyond just two mediums together. Because a lot of artists have combined mediums together in the
yeah,
past. So my thought is, how do you make an interesting um, project that is more meaningful? For example, when it comes to augmented reality. Um, so that's kind of combining 3D software and as well as the new form of being able to place this 3D software models in real space. And I made a project recently this year, um, which it's an AR story. So I tried to combine the idea of like a movie or a script with the idea of augmented reality.
okay.
Um,
I will do a pause here to share my screen and go to this. It's in your Instagram, right?
yeah, there's some
Yeah,
videos on
yeah.
this project.
Just let me share my. Okay. Yeah, good. It would be very interesting for the audience to look at
Yeah, thank you.
your work. Mm.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so well, I have the virtual garden
Oh
here,
yeah.
but I think the piece you're talking about is this.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. So
incredible. So, yeah, talk about
thank
it.
you. Yeah. Yeah, this is one of my favorite projects that I've done, just because to me it has a lot of meaning and a lot of depth to the message, I think.
Okay.
So it's not just a 3D model in augmented reality, but it's also a story that you can experience. So how I combine this idea of script writing and my background in filmmaking. This was very relevant when I was making this project. And then I combined it with some of the new skills that I learned in augmented reality.
Sure.
Yeah. And so, yeah, in combining these things, there's also a lot of technical challenges. um,
Yeah, that's an important,
there's
always that's an important
yeah,
part for tech, right?
yeah. Sometimes these two mediums are, you're dealing with file types that don't always go together. Or you want to make a GIF, but GIFs have certain limits in terms of file size and um, all these things. Even with augmented reality, there's a lot of limitations right now. Um, for example, this augmented reality project,
Yeah.
there was quite a lot of um, things like 3D objects, and that makes the project very heavy, big in file size. But the software that I'm using, it's called Spark AR, which is Instagram's AR
Okay.
software. Um, they have a very small amount of you can only upload a certain amount of data to your project.
Yeah.
Um, so you have to work in certain limitations.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, and I think that that has to be with your work, the data, how you treat different mediums as data. And I think the liquidity thing is attached, deeply attached to the nature of data, right?
Yeah. Definitely. I wrote, or I like to think about um, media or media images. They're all data. They're all, at least digitally, um, at the end of the day, they're all the same zeros and ones,
Yeah.
that you can combine. So that's what I'm saying. The fact that all these media is gaseous, it's all kind of the same material that can intermix nowadays. And so, what am I saying?
No,
Oh
it's
yeah, I like to treat, yeah, I like to treat like media as kind of a raw material.
okay.
How a painter a painter uses paint as their material, a sculptor uses clay or marble or something as their material. So I like to use, in the world of digital, I think the raw material that is data, is images. And so I kind of craft um, a lot of works out of this, like paint, out of this images. For example, my background, if you can see here,
Yep.
this is a digital painting, but I use images as kind of a way to, if I'm painting digitally,
Yep.
I will kind of use it as a paint in a way.
Okay. Yeah. I identified through your work some keywords that I think are important, which are, you have just mentioned it, a couple of them, which is improvisation, infinite, endless processes, experimentation, meditation, ubiquitous, and the unfinished state of art. So I want to link two of your art pieces through the keyword infinite. Although I know and I feel that all the keywords are in all your artwork, but which are these two projects, which are pretty interesting, are the Infinite Painting Project and Conspiracy Today.
Yeah.
So I will
Mhm.
share to the audience. This is the Infinite, right?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, which is it's the format is an Instagram account, which is continuously nurtured.
Nurtured. I like that word.
Yeah, with with uh, with paintings, but which are not completely planned, right? I mean, there's the space
Hmm.
for improvisation.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of improvisation. There's a lot of people ask me, how do I make this art piece?
Yeah,
And they ask me, is it finished? Do I make it as a whole? And the answer is that it's not finished. And that is the point of the project, this piece, is because I improvise one one section at a time.
yeah,
So it's always evolving. And so there are some people who they have Instagram accounts like this where it's, it's seamless,
yeah,
but some of those Instagram accounts are, they're already finished. They make a certain amount and then that's it. For me, there's a big part of improvisation, because this painting, this project acts as a kind of visual diary for me. It's supposed
yeah,
to be a reflection of the current. So there's whatever it is I'm feeling that I want to express, whatever is happening in my life, whatever art style that I've been interested in lately. Um, that is what I will put on the canvas. So you can look back at this painting and I can track kind of my thought process.
yeah,
Um, yeah, just like how Instagram, people post on Instagram, people post on social media as a reflection of the current, the present. Um, and so I wanted this art project to also have the same feeling of the present, um, and always evolving.
and never ending as a final product.
Yes,
Yep, and
exactly.
yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. And the other
Thank you.
project I see that has this keyword infinite, but in a different way, which I just wanted to ask you, how is this infinite element placed or addressed in conspiracy today? Is this wonderful side that it has like an infinite loop, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm so glad you brought this up because we exhibited together,
Yeah, yeah.
and this was my submission in Blue Liminal Toss.
Blue liminal toss. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, this is also a piece that I like a lot, because I haven't made many website art pieces. And so if you scroll to the bottom of the web page,
Okay.
it's yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
like
basically,
looping.
yeah, yes. There's no If you scroll to the end of the website, it goes back to the beginning, and it kind of traps you in this website. And yeah, this one, it's infinite. It's an infinite scroll. Um, so the Instagram account, it's infinite, but in a way that is, to me, positive. Um, it's it's infinite in that it is, what's the word? Uh,
Adding you can you can add positively through
yeah,
time
yeah,
new things,
exactly.
and this is
Yeah.
just the same, which is a great metaphor to what you're talking about in this website, which are the news. There's this great
Mhm.
phrase here. Let me see. Where is this one. This is extremely
Yes.
dangerous to our democracy. So this phrase is
Yes. Mhm.
repeated all over time in in all news. So it's like an infinite loop of the same,
Exactly. Yes.
like
Yeah.
like
So
a
you
trap.
exactly. So this is the dangerous side of, um, the word infinite, if it becomes a loop, and a lot of people, a lot of people get into these echo chambers
Yeah.
online, which is partly the fault of these sites like Facebook and Twitter, but it's also a mindset thing, I think. If you get into one of these loops where you're just consuming the same information, the same um, news sources, and it's becoming a feedback loop where now you're trapped in this infinite cycle of thought. So in this infinite loop, there's no new information in a way. There's no new possibility.
Yeah.
But in the Instagram account, it's infinite, but in a way that is, to me, like you said, it's about possibility. It's about opportunity. There's so many ways I can um, continue, and there's all this new things I can do. It's exploration.
Yeah.
Whereas conspiracy today, it's all about the same, infinite.
Yeah. So that brings me to my next question. Uh, I see I see through all your work that there's always a question that nurture it, and this question is, how do I know when an art piece is finished? So
Mm,
I want to continue quoting you actually, and you say some years ago that it is about the act of painting or making art rather than the content. It need not look finished in order for it to be completed and displayed to the public. You wrote this, I think, in 2017. So my question for you would be, how is this question seen today by David Koh, which you somehow respond already, but how do you see in your next artworks? For instance, in your most recent artworks like the virtual garden.
mhm. Right, yeah. Yeah, how do you know when an artist is finished? I think that's interesting, especially um, today. Oh, yes, digital garden.
Mhm.
Yeah, to talk about this piece specifically and the idea of like when is an artwork finished? Um, when I this piece is called Digital Garden, and then here it is in a digital exhibition space. So this entire forest, the world, was built by another person. It's just an exhibition space for the New Now Festival, and then my piece is this kind of plant with
Yeah,
the screens. Um, it's interesting because I think an art piece can have so many different lives. It can come back, and then you can remake it. And then I like to think of art pieces nowadays as um, iterative, like it's an app, that you keep updating.
yeah,
1.1, 1.2. It's not like a painting that once you're finished with it and it's sold, um, you can't really touch it. But what if you had a painting that you could, you every once in a while you come back to it and you put you put new paint on it and add to it. And so the digital garden piece, I initially I initially made it back in the beginning of this year, 2021.
okay,
And then I thought it was done. It's like, oh, okay, this is just an experimentation. Um, and then I submitted it to this festival in the fall, in autumn, and um, I said, let me make some changes to it. So I made some changes to it just to make it specific for this exhibition. So that was almost like version 2 of Digital Garden. And
okay,
then so that maybe Digital Garden 2 is finished, but then maybe I'll submit it to another exhibition and I'll change it a bit more. And then that can be digital garden version 3, and then there can be digital garden version 4.
Yeah.
um, and so yeah, it's what is the end, what is the what is the death of the art piece. um, the art piece then doesn't need to complete. It has its own life. It's living and it can also grow. um, and to me that's important, um, especially when you work digitally. um, these works don't have to be static, and to me that there's this idea that art is dynamic, and it plays into, again, the idea of the present, the current, the now.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you think? Uh, Speaking about this living creature, this living art piece, what do you think about the NFTs and crypto art, which is a boom today? Do you think this NFTs somehow uh, finish the work, or like close the work into certain boundaries, pardon, or do you think there's also a chance to continue improving and making new changes through the NFTs field?
Yeah, yeah, NFTs are interesting. So I'm not an expert at NFTs
I,
in terms of knowledge.
yeah,
There's
I
always,
think
yeah,
there's few experts in this field. Yeah.
yeah. I think, yeah, not even the experts know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's yeah, I was having a discussion with a friend of mine about NFTs, and I think NFTs, what's what's not so good about NFTs is that it it reproduces the traditional art market,
Yeah.
right? So if you have in the traditional art market, you might have one painting, and then you sell that one painting for however, thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So it makes this idea that art is rare, is scarce, which is just economics. Um, and because of that, I think it's difficult to really, it limits the possibility of digital art, which I think is, in my vision, like you said, um, it puts this boundary, it puts a life on the art object. And my vision of art sometimes is it's more of a network sometimes rather than just a single object. It can be a single object, but um, there's a lot of layers maybe
Yeah.
to a digital art piece that isn't so easily, you know, isn't so easily tradable like a commodity, um,
Sure. Yeah.
like a painting. So yeah, I think NFTs do put this limits on um, art objects in that way. Um, yeah, I mean NFTs in general, I'm a bit conflicted. I see pros and cons to it, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, I often think and feel that there's more on going about marketing as well. So if you want to have your your pieces sold, but you have to be a great marketer as well. And I don't know, and I
Mm,
also question myself how this new learning curve will affect to me as a creator. No, it's not that it has
mm,
been different in other times as with the auctions and with the traditional uh, selling selling about the artworks. It's the same, but now as it is a bubble and there's a lot of people jumping into this train,
Yeah.
it makes it harder. And also, speaking about data and the internet age, uh, this is like going 10,000 times uh, more than, so it gets like
Yeah.
a kind of a chaos feeling.
Yeah. 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 It's so chaotic. Um, and I feel, yeah, there's just so many people, so many NFTs out there that the only way to really get noticed is if you were maybe previously well known,
Yeah.
like you're a sports star, you're a movie director or a famous artist already. So in that sense, it's really NFTs were meant to be radical, but in the end, it's just kind of reproducing the same power structures as before. But I mean, there is there are good things. There are definitely new digital artists that are becoming more well known because of NFTs.
Yeah.
One artist that I love, her tag is ix.shells, and she's the highest selling NFT uh, woman artist.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and she's sold digital artworks for a few $1 million before, um, and so she makes these algorithmic artworks.
Okay.
And so I knew her before she became too big. Um, but I mean, she's a wonderful artist in person, I think, just from following her on Instagram. Um, but I've seen her grow from just a few thousand followers to now it's like 12 to 13,000 followers. And so
Okay.
I'm very happy for her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, there has to be good things. As always, it's not, although it's data, it's not binary. It's a whole
Mhm,
range between, which can be good things, bad things, but in the middle there are some gates and opportunities there too.
mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know that well, you were based in New York City and living for many years there, and now you're living
Mhm,
in London doing your master's degree in arts, which I
mhm.
congratulate you for this,
Thank you. Mhm.
and I wish you the best with this. So I want to ask you how this moving has affected your practice so far, your thoughts, your visual diaries.
Yeah. Well, yeah, to be honest, it's been what's the word? It's been a bit difficult actually, uh, because I moving countries, and especially during COVID, um, it's pretty difficult. So I think I had to take maybe 2 or 3 months away from making art, um, and I just don't have time to think about new projects or ideas. And then right now, I'm still trying to just set up my life in London. So it's been very difficult in terms of my mental capacity. I don't have time. Not that I don't have time, but it's I can't just exist thinking about my work. So I've been, I think in the last 2 weeks, I've been getting inspired again. Um, uh, I've started to talk with my course in school. Uh, a lot of my classmates, I've uh, I'm very inspired by a lot of my classmates and what they're making, and some of the course leaders, their artwork. Um, So it's yeah, I'm slowly getting back into creation again, and I think it's interesting because to me, I'm very affected by context and my environment, and
Yeah.
so being in the new context um, in London um, is pretty different. Um, because I was in New York City for 10 years before, and I have many friends in New York City. But now I think when you move places, and I don't know too many people here in London yet, um, I think the question comes up of identity.
Yeah.
Um, who are you if you don't have your community around you? Sometimes, because I think a lot of people and us, we don't realize that a lot of ourselves is our environment, um, our friends, our family, um, your the place that you live. And so when you take all of these things away and you move to a new place, um, you start to question, like, who am I? Um, your behavior might change maybe because you're not with those people that you go out with having fun or uh, eating with. So there's a lot of there's right now I'm doing a lot of reading, a lot of introspection in terms of where was I before and what was my art practice before, and um, what is the next stage of what I want to create, which I think is, I want to start doing some new things here in university, uh, trying out some new uh, methods of art, um, some new mediums. So yeah, it's exciting. I think there's a lot of experimentation I think I'll be
Yeah.
doing.
That's the word that I was just about to say, that you see your future path as an experimental path as too, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, David. Well, we here in Luz Viajera wish you the best. You're a great artist. We're looking forward to see the next works at the time that you at your own pace. Enjoy your stay at London. Enjoy your cohort and the peers and everything, the food, everything.
Yes. No, thank you, Juan Pablo, for having me. Yes, I will be sharing my process a lot on Instagram and um, with your audience and everything. So thank you again for having me.
Yeah, so just to know, you can
Mhm,
be found in
mhm,
co.working and
mhm.
also in Celestial Studios, right?
Yes, Celestial Studios, and
Celestial,
that's two L's.
two L's. Okay, here we
Yes,
go. All right.
thank
Okay,
you.
okay. No, thanks to you, David. And as I said, we're looking forward to see your future work.
Yes, thank you as well.
Thank you. So
Okay.
have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, see you next time. Okay.